Was IndiGo using its monopolistic, no, let's be clear, was IndiGo using its monopolistic position, 66% of market share, to arm twist the government to give an extension to the FDTL norms?
Rajdeep, there are 2 points here, Rajdeep. First is, after the disruption of flight, we are putting this question that should DGCA have asked them to monitor the pilots, etc. Let's take IndiGo's performance prior to November 30th. A remarkable airline, professionally run airline, growth-oriented, and everything was going good. It is only after the disruption of flights on 3rd, 4th, and 5th December that we are raising up this question of DGCA not having monitored. Now, when you come up with the monopoly condition, let me explain to you, IndiGo was not designed to be a monopoly player monopolizing 65% of the market. Let's go back into the history. In 2011, we had 6 airlines. IndiGo had 20% market share. Kingfisher collapsed, and IndiGo took most of the market share of Kingfisher Airline, increased to 28%. In 2019, Jet Airways collapsed. Market share went up to 50%. And then when Go First collapsed, the market share went up beyond 60%. Now, what was the message here? Many other airlines fell as far as the market share was concerned. SpiceJet is a startling example. From 18%, it came down to 4%. No other airline could get on to increase the market share of any airline once an airline collapsed. Now, imagine if IndiGo had not stepped in with the large capacity induction to get the enhanced market share. Capacity deficit in the market, astronomical pricing of fares, etc. would have taken place. Now that this 3rd, 4th, 5th December thing has left a bad taste as to what went wrong. And that is where I said in the initial comments, IndiGo must take the entire blame for what has happened. Yes, one can say there could be arrogance
are you saying
on the
DGCA
part,
cannot
optimism on the part of IndiGo
are you saying,
that
no,
we
sir,
will
are
be
you
able
saying
to
that
manage
IndiGo
an
is,
extension from DGCA.
are you saying
But
IndiGo is too big to regulate?
The extension, what they ought to have done was to have truncated their flight schedule so that last-minute cancellations was not to take place and passengers were not inconvenienced.
No, are you saying that IndiGo was too big in a way to regulate, that they had to get their act together as a private company, the government, the regulator could do very little?
So that's what I'm saying. IndiGo bungled big way. Could be out of arrogance, could be out of complacency, could be out of the belief that we are a 65% dominant market player. Government will probably yield ground and say, okay, take another couple of months, and they did not. And they should not have expected, in my opinion, any extension from the government, because the moment DGCA would have buckled in, there would have been pressure from the pilot community and others that DGCA is not acting independently, but buckling under airline pressure.
Okay, I'll come to Sherbir in a moment, but Sanjay Lazar, quickly respond to what you've heard, because you've got a contrarian view. You believe the regulator should have possibly put a red flag right at the very outset, not allowed IndiGo to stretch it, push it till the 1st of December. Am I correct? That no giving extensions, you jolly well get your act together.
Rajdeep, it's like this. IndiGo is, like Mr. Kaul said, 90% to blame, but the minister cannot say that he and the DGCA were not responsible. There is a level of collusion inside the DGCA with this organization that you cannot believe. People on the panel may not agree. You know, it will come out if you have a CVC inquiry over, you know, the JDGs passing. The same man who approved increased flights, knew they were cancelling 1,000 flights in November, sat with them on the 1st of December, is the same guy who show causes them, is the same guy who's on the inquiry. I mean, this is a joke.
So you're saying there was collusion? No, 1 minute. You're saying there was collusion between DGCA and the airline.
I am clearly saying it, and so has Amit. And let me be very clear. You're putting the same man who approved an increase. You know, they've increased by 900 flights in winter over summer without having the pilots. They should have checked that, number one. Number two, you know, in November, they've cancelled 1,200 flights. You sit with them on the 1st of December. The same person who approved the increase then sits in that meeting. Then you find that the same person is issuing the show cause when all crap hits the fan. I mean, let's be very clear. There is shaking hands here, and I'm not going to back down on this point. Let me also say another thing, that IndiGo is too big to fail. We will cripple our entire market, unfortunately, and that's why the dispensation had to be given. I'm against it. IndiGo should have
Okay,
been...
can I just for a moment bring in Sherbir Panag? Sherbir, you're a lawyer. Do you believe there's corporate accountability here? That it's not just the CEO of IndiGo, but it's the board of directors. It's their job to ensure that the company is working according to standards that have been set. These are, as I keep saying, A-listers. They are the ones who should have been seeing whether IndiGo had got its act together or not.
Rajdeep, when it comes to a matter of accountability, I think we've got to look at it in two prisms. First and foremost is IndiGo's professional management. Every board of directors has a legitimate expectation to rely on its professional management, and they have A-listers in professional management as well. And then comes the culpability of the board. So absolutely, this is a historic failure when it comes to IndiGo. But I want to build a nuance in here to so that we can very squarely put the issue into play. Rajdeep, this at its heart is a flight safety issue. The flight duty time limits is not some socialist measure that was being imposed, but rather was being done to ensure safety of Indian aviation. IndiGo, rather than being a responsible large player in Indian aviation, fought this tooth and nail and did every trick in the book. These issues started in 2024. They even in mid 2025, they knew the deadline was coming up for 1st November. So the fact that IndiGo was poorly prepared and they had such poor systems is something that they are accountable for, and they are the ones who submit their flight schedules. Nobody can conjure up.
So you're saying they put profits above safety? You're saying they put profits above safety?
I've said this on record that IndiGo would rather risk safety, risk an aviation incident, risk the safety of passengers rather than focus on flight duty time limits. Their entire strategy since the matter has started of the FDTL norms has been to delay them. And even on 1st of December, it was to delay them. Rajdeep, tell me, look at the dates from 1st of June all the way till 1st of November, and look at what the dates are going to be from 1st of November to February 2026. Is this not enough? Was there not enough time up to 1st November? And what is magically going to change between now and February, barring the fact that that Indian aviation was brought to a standstill? So that's part one of the issue. And I've been very unequivocal on this particular position all across since this incident broke.
Okay.
The second part is the regulator. Rajdeep, if I had to draw a parallel as somebody who's acted on virtually every major corporate governance crisis in the last couple of years, if the Reserve Bank of India was undertaking such a large change to company or to IT systems of banks or such a large scale reform, it would have had significant more scrutiny. It would have ensured that the systems are in place. And the RBI does that. And that is the reason why we don't have the kind of failures that we have. And they learn very, very quickly from it. And there are several other unsung heroes.
Right.
The DGCA is to blame. The DGCA cannot look the other way and say, oh, their crew resource management system was a failure. Are we going to blame this whole thing on a software glitch at this juncture? We have so much regulation in this country that you can't change your name without 17 NOCs. And you're telling me a specialist sector with a specialist regulator. This isn't a regulator looking into leave and license agreements. This is a specialist regulator looking at a specialist sector. Did not audit the crew management systems and the softwares out here. So I completely don't buy this. The DGCA must be held to account. The DGCA must be held to account that it too had 2 years, just like IndiGo did, and failed to do anything, and rather continued doing the IndiGo's bidding, and was okay with a safety norm being delayed, as in for a regulator. To have a safety norm being delayed is tomorrow. Should SEBI be okay with mutual funds not paying people in T+2 days? Should the RBI not care about our banking security? As in, this is ridiculous on all levels and preposterous for anyone to say DGCA is not to blame.
So you've got, I think, some element of clarity. Yes, principal blame on IndiGo as the carrier, but the regulator cannot escape accountability in this instance.